Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what instantly ruins a hamburger for you? When I go to take a big ol' bite and the whole thing just ejects out the back. Some restaurants with tall burgers put a pick in the middle to maintain shape. Many people remove this stick before eating the burger. I tend to eat around the stick to stop patty escape. Misjudge when to remove it, though, and you get a pick in the roof of your mouth. Abnormal height of burger. That shit is for looking, not eating. Big burgers should be wide, not tall. There was a place near where I grew up, Calls Drive-In, Perry UT, that did this. They had a 1-pound burger, but it was the same thickness as their normal burger, just much larger. It had a giant bun to go with it. You could actually eat it or share it or whatever, and it still worked like a burger should. When you're chewing, and the meat has a hard bit in it, like a piece of bone or something. There's nothing worse than finding a hard thing in soft food, or a soft thing in hard food. There's nothing worse than having to reevaluate your chew intensity level when an emergency dentist appointment becomes a potential threat. Soggy bun. Absolutely awful when the bun loses all structure halfway through and your hamburger disintegrates in your hands and you're left with a pile of slop. So gross. More of a meatball than a patty. I see you've had my dad's ball gores. What is it about dads and their absolute tennis ball burgers? Also, my family chronically underseasons everything, but then busts out the spice rack for a hamburger. It shouldn't need a bunch of random herbs, spices, it's a hamburger, not a meatloaf. Assuming everything is fresh and nothing is spoiled. A cold patty towering height sogginess. This person burgers. Well, not if it's cold, tall or soggy. A surprisingly agile dog. I had a chihuahua once who did some Metal Gear Solid shit and literally got up on the table and made off with an 8 ounces New York strip without anyone noticing. Until we sat down to eat and 6 people were looking at 5 steaks like, did we really do this? And then my dad was like, hey, where's the dog? Lol. Your dad when he's about to say where's the dog red exclamation mark. When the patty is overcooked and dry. I don't know, Bob, I think you just missed the mark with this one. It's a little overdone and dry. Overdone and dry. Overdone and dry. Overdone and dry. Don't feed a guy a sponge, Bob. Gristle. Or a little bone chip in the meat. Instant gag. I have a weird thing about unexpected textures in my food. Throws the whole dish off. This should be higher. Can't stand gristly meat. It's awful, isn't it? Crack your tooth on that stuff and smacks of cheap meat. Those stupid TikTok cheese sauces. I was gonna say excessive cheese. The amount of times I've seen a gallon of melted cheese explode out, poured over is just face vomiting. Some cheese is fine. It's the excess that's not needed or wanted. I hate anything poured on top of the buns. If I can't hold it and eat it semi-cleanly, then it's no longer a burger, it's a casserole. The price for a Fu King sandwich that until recently was one of the cheapest things to eat. Oh, you mean you don't like paying $30 for some bread, condiments, lettuce, tomato, and a cheap hunk of ground beef? Don't forget that 75% tip. Plus $15 for sides plus $10 soft drink. I recently saw a headline that Burger King is trying to get people to eat the Whopper again. How about not making it $8? I'm not saying it has to be 99c like it was from time to time when I was a kid. But $4.05 would get me to go more often. Whopper Wednesday was $1 Whopper last year, now it's $3. Fat ass tomatoes. I love tomatoes. But I loathe lazy food preparers who slice them into massive slabs. Get a decent knife. Same goes for massive chunks of tomato in a salad. It seems like there is an epidemic of cooks, chefs not slicing things thin enough. Whenever you see chefs at fancier places, they slice things nice and thin as a default for a lot of foods. And there is a reason for that, lol. Make them wider, not higher. Burger King takes the W again, biceps. Miracle Whip. Or sweet pickles. Sweet anything. Really. Sweet pickles are straight from Satan. Poor construction. When the patty flies out the other side. Stick everything together with blobs of sauce. Too much sauce is what lubes it up and launches the patty out the far side. Good textured vegetables and a firm grip. I find sliced onions on the bottom and strips of bell peppers are the best grippy veg for the purpose. Or, if you're against veggies because healthy food is for those who want a long life, then thick cut, super ruffled crispy bacon can also do the job. Bun breaking apart for me is one. I'll say this now. The height of burgers are a joke. I'd rather a regular burger height and the circumference of the burger being bigger. The bun to burger ratio is important. I also prefer thin patties better than one thick patty and much better than 2 big ones. I like the toughness of the burger rather than it feels soft to the bite. I've had some expensive burgers that have not been as good as cheap-made van burgers purely because they were soft and mushy rather than tougher texture. Big thick slices of raw onions rings. Worse, diced onions then gluing them to the bun with sauces. I know it's a personal preference for many, but just onions. All the other things listed here I can deal with. But onions. As soon as I get that crunch. Even if it's a half crunch. I'm on auto response and I just open up and can't take another bite. Raw onions is a hard pass. I like sautéed onions, but not on burgers. Really. Anything where it's more like a condiment or the main sauce component for like steaks or something. Raw onions also contaminate the entire taste of whatever they touch. You can take them off, but everything still tastes like onions. Onion haters unite. I love raw onio on my burgers. If a place has a Cali-style burger, I will probably get it. Or raw red onion rings. That's just plain evil. The whole hamburger just tastes like red onion. I feel like that's just preference. I've seen people swear up and down onions ruin a burger and then proceed to drown to dry. As in no condiments or cheese. Burger and ketchup, so that's the only flavor they get. Onions of any kind face vomiting.